What is up, Propel Church? Andrew here at the Reach Company. This is another tutorial for you guys. In this tutorial, we are going to be going over the basics of the page builder so that you guys can switch out your written content and your pictures specifically. There will be another tutorial that goes over like building a page from scratch with some of the elements I have saved. So this is a broad overview for you guys to get in and start adding your text, as well as just gaining an understanding of what the page builder is. And so before just clicking on page builder, I want you to understand some of the other ways to get there. We're going to be working on the connect page. So we're going to go to the back end and we're going to go to pages. And once the page list pulls up, we're going to go to connect. So we just got to find it, connect it, Propel Church. And so we're going to go ahead and look at that. So on the back end, you have the title here, you have the web address. Below that, you have SEO stuff. Most of this is already going to be taken care of, but a lot of it's self-explanatory. You want to make sure that you're using phrases such as Propel Church and Mount Pleasant, NC regularly. But most of this, you guys won't really want to have to worry about because it'll already be done for you. You want to make sure there's a featured image. Of course, that'll be done soon as well. The big thing here is that from the back end, you can go to that page and you can click Launch Page Builder. We're going to do it from the front. It's also right up here in the top. So before just clicking on it and editing the page, I want to explain a few things. So you'll notice when I hover over Page Builder that there are two options here. The first one is Connect to Propel Church. That's this whole page, right? The second you see is the main header. So Page Builder works, the way we use the Page Builder is you can use it to edit this stuff up here at the top as well. And I'm going to go ahead and click that so you see what happens first. So if I click that, what comes up is the actual header area. You guys shouldn't have to make any changes here. This is pretty fine-tuned as far as the widths and everything like that. It needs to be for desktop, tablet, phone, etc. It's responsive. It's ready to go. But I just want to make you aware that you can also edit this right here as well. You don't edit the menu here. You select whatever menu you already have created on the back end, which we'll look at when we're making a real page. This is just the overview and going through tweaking the content that is already there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to click on Connect at Propel Church, and this is going to bring up the page builder. We're going to start on the left, we're going to go all the way over to the right, and then we're going to look at the page builder itself, scrolling down. So first over here is the toolbar. You really shouldn't have to mess with any of these, but they're here if you need to. You shouldn't have to mess with. This is where different code and stuff is added. This is where revisions are. So if you have revisions that are still available, you can select there. Maybe you messed up and you want to go back, and then you can save this as a template as well. And I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to save this template as Connect page, and I'm going to click Save, and I'll show you where that actually ended up here in a moment. So we're going to scroll over here to this other side. This lets us know that there are changes that haven't been published, the unpublished changes. If I click this plus icon, it brings up the options for the page builder. So you have modules, you have rows, which are basically the layouts that modules go inside of. You have templates, which is where that one just actually showed up that I saved a moment ago. And then you have saved. So all throughout your site, I have customized different modules to use code to look a certain way. For example, this overlay takes a lot of code to make happen. And so I have classes and CSS and a bunch of nerd stuff involved that you don't need to know about. What you do need to know is that I saved this row as writing left row because the writing is on the left. So if you have to make another page and you just want to add a few rows, you don't have to recreate anything. You don't have to add my code or classes or whatever. You have it already saved right here just to be able to drag and drop into whatever page you're working on. And so modules are basically different functionality type things. For example, this is a heading. And it's in here somewhere. There's a lot of different modules to tinker with and play around with. I think it's under Reach modules actually. I used a smart heading right here. The search functionality is great if you already know what you're looking for. Maybe by the time you guys are doing it, there won't be as much of these modules, but I also know Pastor Nick and some of your team are tinkerers, so I might leave a lot out for you guys to play around with for your landing pages that you make for events and etc. So the way pages work, the way the page builder works is it's basically boxes inside of boxes inside of boxes. The biggest box is called a row. If I hover over this, you'll see a little tip pop up that says row settings right above it. And so if I click on this, it brings up the settings for this row. Everything here, self-explanatory, right? So if you spend a little time tinkering and playing around with it, you'll see what I mean. Full width, obviously the width of this is full. If we change it to fixed, it changes. Let's change it back to full width because that's ugly. The content width, I have it set to fixed. The height, full height, makes it full height. Self-explanatory. The colors here, sometimes when you play with the colors in a row for the text color, link colors, etc., it won't happen because sometimes it doesn't override the module settings. So if you're trying to change the color of some text using the row settings, I try to do it based on the actual module settings if it has it. The background types. So there are a number of background types: photo, video, slideshow. I don't do slideshows because it's heavy on loading, and video and photo are pretty much where I live. I don't do parallax because it causes issues on some browsers. And so I have this set to photo. I have the background photo set. For your current website, all your photos are already set, so you don't have to worry about that presently. On the attachment scroller fixed, when I scroll right now, you see it doesn't move. But if I fix the picture to a certain position, you can see that I like that effect. For your website, we went with scroll instead, and the scale is filled. So right here, the background overlay, you can change it. Most of the overlays on your website are going to be full, but because you guys have a see-through menu at the top, I selected gradient instead, and I put a darker color at the top so it's easier to see the menu items. Most of these other settings you won't have to worry about because this is a custom site. A lot of that's already done for you. What you can do is if you're a tinkerer, you can just create a test page and play around with the page builder. That's my biggest suggestion. I'll probably say it again in this tutorial. So within this, let's scroll down to where there are columns. So here you have the row. This is the big box. The middle box is the columns. So if I hover over this, you see it says edit column. Edit column. And you see when I select one of these, it selects the entire column. Column settings as well, they're pretty similar to row settings there. You can do what you need to. And then inside the column, you have the actual modules. So it goes modules, column for the whole thing, and then rows for all the columns. Modules, columns, rows. Boxes inside of boxes, inside of boxes. For your website, you don't have to change most of anything except for text. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to go through the different areas that you guys will have to change. And it's basically point and click. You'll see when I click on that it brings up this bar right here. I like to make my screen big, and then I like to, you can see you can drag this. I like to put it over here. You see how that pops out, and I fix it to that side. There's two ways to type. You can do it right here in the browser itself, or you can do it over here. I like doing it over here. Just my preference, and you can change what you need to. Here at intro, it's the same thing. For this text, it's right there, and if you scroll down, you'll see that it's right here. So we're going to do that. We're going to click Save. For the next column, it's the same thing. We can click Edit. Your buttons are already set, but you can change the text right here, or I prefer to do it over here. And then you can change the link right here. All the links are already set for your buttons. And then the picture itself, if you want to change this picture, go to Edit. upload photos, select the photo. When it gets there, always make sure you can see right here the photo I have selected. I have a title, I have a caption, I have an alt text that matches the title, and then I have the description. This is really important for your site's SEO since you guys are going to be adding some content yourselves. And then for this middle one right here, it's the same. Baptism is right here. Description is down here. And the button right here. And so I'll walk you through this row as well. So let's go to the row settings. You can see I don't have the height set to full height. What I do have is something called padding. And so padding adds just what it is. It adds padding to the top, bottom, right, left, etc. Let's change it to 15 so you'll see what happens. See, it moved the padding to 15 on the top, and it took away a lot of the height. And I can do the same to the bottom, and it does the same thing there. We're going to change that back to 150 and click Save. Down here on events, you shouldn't have to mess with any of these. These are pretty custom, so you don't tweak them, I guess. You can tweak the heading, though, to upcoming events, whatever you need that to be. And then I have a button for see all events, just a standard button. And then down here we have another background image. We don't have an overlay on this one from the mock-up. And so we have the background overlay set to full, but you can see there's no color selected here. Just for the sake of demonstration, I'm gonna select one though, and we're gonna just go with that. Actually, with that, and then we're gonna change the opacity to 80, and you can see that really changes the look of it right there. Right. I'm gonna go ahead and click off of the color. It gets rid of the color. I'm gonna click Save. And to make sure that all of our changes are saved, we're going to click Done and Publish. And if you made it to the end of this video, congratulations, because this is one of the most important parts. After you save any of the changes, because we are using WP Rocket, it's a premium caching plugin, which saves a cache of your website, saves a copy of your website. Some of your changes might not show up automatically to other visitors. So every time we save changes to a page with a page builder, we have to come here and clear cache. Clear the cache. When in doubt, clear the cache. That's like the best piece of advice I can give. When in doubt, clear the cache. So in this video, we're going to do two more things, and that is adding a text box below something so that we can talk a little bit more about it. And we're going to look at adding a form to a button. Just using the link. I think we already covered the link, but I want to be sure. So what we're going to do is, let's do this on the visit page. Hey, Pastor Nick. So we're going to go ahead and click Page Builder and say we want to talk a little bit more about kids, right? What we're going to do is we're going to be on our little modules area right here. We're going to select text editor, and we could put it right here below it. Here you go. Let me copy this text real quick so I can demonstrate a little better. We could put it right here below it, but you can see that that's like full width. It looks kind of funky. So what we're going to do instead is I'm going to save this. I'm going to create a new row. All it is drag and drop. You saw where I grabbed it. I'm going to go ahead and delete that so that it doesn't mess up my spacing. And here I'm talking about kids and such. So I'm going to tweak these row settings a little bit so it's closer to the kids area. I'm going to make the background the same color. So background color. And then the cool thing here is you have color presets. So you can click on your presets. Scroll down to that one that I'm using as the main background for most of the site. And what we're also going to do is we're going to get rid of padding on the top. So that's 0. And there's still a fair amount of padding, so that means we're going to have to come up here to this one and do the same thing. We're going to get rid of the, stop. We're going to get rid of the bottom padding on this one, and I'll scroll down so you can see it happen. So we're going to change that back to 40, and it pulls it up right up under this, and I'm going to click save. And now I'm free to do stuff with this. So if I want to say more about kids, change that to a heading, and I don't like how big that is, so I'm going to click on this little toolbar here. I want to change it to, probably helps if I have it highlighted, right? Change it to 18, make it a little bigger, click save. Now I still don't like how this looks. I like thinner text, and so what I can do is I can hover over the edge of the column over here, and I can just drag it in a little bit. And that makes a little text area that I can add below anything here. And if I want to use that, maybe you want to use this same look in other areas, maybe you want to do the same look here below worship, there's a few options. First, you can hover over this right here and duplicate it, and then pull it below worship. You'll have to change your padding settings again for this, but you know, that's how you get it down there. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that row though. And then maybe you want to use this on other pages as well, so you have the option of saving this. And so I click on row settings, and I'm going to come down here to save as, and I can give it a name. So writing more text, and I'm just going to click save, and you'll see that it's right here, writing more text, and I can just pull that wherever I need to, and it's the same row that I just saved anywhere I need it to be. So guys, that's how you tweak a little bit of the content that you have. That's how you add a new row to add some more content to pages. We went through how the page builder works, the top, everything here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot me those questions. I always recommend making a test page and familiarizing yourself with the page builder, just tinkering and playing around with it for an hour or so, and you'll be ahead of the curve, and you'll feel really comfortable with these tutorials.